Africans and spirituality. What is the connection? I've always wanted to talk about Africans, black people, and spirituality, and I would never really want to broach the subject because, you know, I would end up ranting about what I like and what I prefer and what I don't understand. And what I figure is that it sounds divisive and authoritative, like I was just the end all be all on the subject. And that's not the way I wanted to come across, and I really didn't want to create a dividing line in the sand. But I realized that even though you don't want to create a dividing line, there's going to be one made when you're talking about religion, especially religion in black folk. I've come to understand that, you know, regardless of what your religion, as long as you're down for the freedom and for our people to get free, like I'm your girl and I'm your sister in that struggle. So I'm here. But let's go into it. And I've always wondered why it was easy for traditional or indigenous African people to convert to Christianity or whatever other religion that was put upon them or brought into their space. Why it was so easy for them to just, okay, forget about what my culture and what I've been practicing and what we've been practicing for hundreds and maybe even thousands of years. I'm going to get on this new and I'm going to get onto Christianity. And then for my aspect, it was a big switch, but then I don't really think that it is, because I gave it a little bit more thought. And when you examine the key factors of indigenous traditional religions, they believe some of the same things that popular religion do, and that is the idea of life after death, or another life coinciding with ours, the idea of angels, in which case in traditional religions they believe in ancestors, and those are going to help you through your day and your journey, and the belief of one supreme God or one supreme energy, the spirit, prophets, of course we call them deities in traditional spirituality, and these are the same things that really coincide with one another. And basically it wasn't them jumping ship, it was them jumping into a new manifestation of the same old stuff they've been practicing for hundreds of years. That's what I've come to understand. And what happens is that even though African people might adopt the westernized religions as Christianity, Islam, Judaism, they still continue to practice their indigenous herbs and roots and all those things that have been a part of their culture for hundreds of years. So even though they go to church on the Sunday, then when they get home, they still dealing in that real root stuff. And that's that earth energy, that's that manifestation, that's that magic, that's that witchcraft that everybody wants to demonize. In this country, United States of America, when we talk about the American Baptists, that is one of the most African-as religions, versions of Christianity that, you know, I've seen from American people. I don't think that catching the Holy Ghost in church is any different than, you know, getting possessed by Oshun in Ifa. I don't see how the cross, the Kaaba, the podium is anything different than the central pole in the temple of a Vodun temple. There's nothing. It's the manifestation of energy, and that's where you go. That's where you're centralizing yourself around. Believing in angels is juxtaposed to believing in deities, like I said before, in regards to we believe that angels are over our shoulders watching us every day, helping us through our day. Well, in traditional spiritualities, that's the way that we believe in deities. And I'm saying we, even though I don't practice one, but that's more where my heart is aligned to. It has been demonized as far as following Christianity and any other religions, because the westernized version has pimped the spirit. It pimped the spirit. It made the spirit its bitch. And in making the spirit its bitch, it said, bitch, you only gonna be this one way, and you're only gonna be able to service this one type of person, bitch. And you can't do anything outside of what the spirit wants you to do. And basically it gave this energy, this spirit, one characteristic. And when we really know that the spirit is really an energy manifestation of the human characteristics, and the human characteristics are not one thing. And so therefore, you playing the role of believing in a spirit that's been pimped and bitched out is not a human characteristic. It's not something that's natural. One can argue that all religions are of African origin, which anybody who knows anything about anything knows that is the truth. However, as my sister Shah Bless once said, why eat the vomit? If we're dealing with westernized religions that has basically pimped the spirit, bitched it out, why are we even following that? And the answer to the question then becomes, what the hell do we follow if we don't follow what we've been taught since we were babies? And, you know, I'll get to that in a second. African or indigenous people, and when I say African people, I mean that all of us, black people all over the world, are caretakers of the earth. That's what traditional spiritualities go into. It goes into not fucking up the earth. People who fuck up the earth and fuck up the spirit, you know, pimp it and shit, those are not caretakers of the earth. There are people who destroy, and they use the spirit and everything else in terms of power. Overstanding that there's a connection that we are all a part of and not independent to this planet, we understand their energy. And indigenous people have been harvesting that energy. And if I'm looking over there, then I'm reading something because it was easy for me to write it down. Indigenous people have been harnessing that energy for eons. A complete understanding of this energy, or what you may think of as magic or witchcraft, is what has manifested itself into the spiritualities of Africa. And again, this is what you see as magic, witchcraft. And African people, we cannot really denounce that there is not a higher supreme energy or supreme being, because we know that we are. We are electromagnetic. We are energy. If you ever walked in front of an antenna radio and changed the frequency just by your presence in front of the radio, you understand that you contain energy. And just like the earth contains energy, you contain energy. And we have been able to, as indigenous people, in our history as indigenous people, been able to manifest and control that energy that lies within us. And people say that because we are children of the sun in the sky, and because we are melanated, we are able to channel that energy a little bit more defined. But you know what? Everything's possible. The problem is that we are limited in our mindset, and in some cases our mind has been taken over, hijacked by doctrine, and been told that this is the only path that you have to take in order to get to this path. And if you don't follow that path, then you are blackballed. And so if the doctrine says to not revere your ancestors, even though you know that you are a manifestation of your ancestors' energy, then you're going to not revere your ancestors, and that doesn't feel right with your spirit. And that's why sometimes we get fucked up. But this blog is not about losing your religion. You know, this blog is about understanding and recognizing the spirit within you. And I'm not talking as a person who is control of that, because I'm searching and seeking every day. But I've understand a couple things, you know. Some of you, it has become your own personal form of just spiritual blanket. My call is to recognize that your religion may not be the only way or the only path to get to God, or what some other people might call the supreme energy. Overstanding that there's a connection to that energy that does not lie within a book or within words or within pages or within the mind of only 3 men across the time, history and time and the span of time, that before them and after them, the energy is still going to be there, and they don't need to be the ones that tell you that. And the thing is that recognizing that that energy is within you, and only you have the power to recognize your spirit. And the thing is that some people don't know what to do with spirit after they've given up religion. And even though some people, I say you don't have to lose your religion, some people choose not to continue the same path of religion. And they may just say, I'm not believing in any type of religion, I'm just going to believe in God. And so here is where there's a problem, because it's at that point they don't know what to believe in, and they don't know how to get spiritual anymore. Because spirituality to them was reading the Bible or the Quran or something else, and not really tapping into their God or goddess consciousness. And so that's where we have a disconnect. Now every black person needs to be able to recognize that goddess in them, recognize that they are energy, recognize that they control their own path, recognize that there is no religion or anything on this earth that can ever tell you how to be human, because you've been human before religion. But like I said, just because I don't agree with certain religions and I don't follow certain things, don't mean that I am your enemy. I mean, because I think that we can still keep it moving.